Through the generous contribution of Dr. Lewis's family, we're very fortunate to be able to share with you these timeless recordings of Dr. M. W. Lewis, a self-realized American yogi. Dr. Lewis was Paramahansa Yogananda's first American disciple and dearest personal friend. The wisdom Dr. Lewis imparts through these teachings will give you a dynamic and practical insight into the ancient science of yoga as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. This lecture's title is Finding Your Place in Life, and was delivered in San Diego, California on July 28, 1953.
Finding your place in life is the subject this morning. Before we consider that subject, I would like to point out one important thing. It is this, that we should realize that every human being, every one of us, is an expression of the vast, great Spirit itself. Although there does not seem to be any visible connection, still each one of us manifests that omniscience and, if we will, the power of the Spirit itself. Without any motive, without any visible wires or electricity, our machines usually run smoothly. And all the fine functions of the body, the assimilation, respiration, all those vital functions of the body are carried on. Even air conditioning goes on, so that whether it's hot or cold, blood temperature, body temperature remains the same. And this all goes on without any seeming connection. The force of Spirit is in us. We are radio controlled, so to speak, like airplanes. But in that control, not only is the force of God, but His consciousness itself. I like to remember that illustration by Dr. Carroll about how, in case of a perforation of the intestine, nature, if you call it that, will cause the person to become unconscious, thoroughly relaxed, and then that loop in the intestine will turn over and lay against the perforation and seal it off, and it will heal. Showing that without doubt, each and every one of us is an expression of the vast and great Spirit itself. And so as we proceed, remember that illustration as we discuss this subject, finding your place in life. We should definitely find out our life path. But how to do this? By analyzing children or the present life to see what is our natural bent. What is the natural life that we should follow, the natural path that we should follow in this life in which we find ourselves? If we do not do this, what happens? We are apt to go through life sidetracked, on the wrong track, perhaps altogether. And in the end, there's one thing to be sure of: we will not have permanent happiness unless we follow that natural bent within ourselves, unless we follow the right path. And so, with that in mind, the first thing we must do is to balance our idealism with the practical part of our life. Now, many people make money, you know. They make money, and they become so attached to making money, and finally to money itself, that the idealism is forgotten. That is not right, of course. And yet, on the other hand, we find people so idealistic that they want to sit right down, do nothing but dream and think of God, and who cares about their obligations and so forth. That is not right either. It is much better Much better to accept your position, which karma has given you, your position in life, and work it out together with your idealism. And so you can see there must be a balance between our idealism and our practicality. We have the greatest illustration of balance in the life of Larry Master, who was a worldly man with wife and children, had a position, carried out his worldly duties, but still, look what the saint he was or is. Why? Because he balanced his life. And even after he received the great illumination from the great Babaji, even after that, still he went back and was in the world, but not of it. And he gave great spiritual help to many, gave them the clear initiation, gave them the way to go back to God. That is one of the greatest illustrations. Of course, in making money, I have explained that some neglect their practical duties for their idealism. There must be a balance. It is far greater to win carrying out your natural obligations and find God than it is to throw them over and then search out for God. Because you will not find Him. There has to be a balance. Because in this drama of life, we have certain obligations which are necessary in the drama. We have to carry those out, and then we have to also, in carrying them out, go back to God. And so, one thing, perhaps the most important thing, is to follow your natural bent. That's very important. It would be like putting me in tending a bar or something. That's not my natural bent at all. And I can say all of you. We'd be certainly not feel at home there. So we must follow our natural bent. Our natural course. That's easy for us, that's natural for us. There's a reason for it being natural to us. I'll try and point it out. If you will watch, you will find that underlying your superficial desires and activities, you will find a definite, innate heart desire that's running along.